Good evening and welcome to the Town Hall Get to Know. Tonight we're going to get to know me, Stephen Smith, a little bit better. I had planned to have another guest on this evening. I had been talking about that, Edgar Hansen, and due to some unfortunate circumstances, he's not going to be able to make it with us tonight. So I wanted to come on and just tell you a little bit more about myself and welcome you and help you to get more familiar with me, Stephen Smith. And I appreciate your understanding. I know that Edgar will be with us in the future, and so I'm looking forward to that interview. It's going to be a very good interview, and I hope you're going to learn some things tonight about me. Um, I'm going to tell you some personal stories in a little bit here too as well. And if you have questions, feel free to put questions into the comments. I want to say again, welcome. And I want you to share this video out. Share it out to the friends that you have, to the groups, uh, because I just like people to get to know me a little bit better. I mean, you know that I've been doing videos for some time now. I'm in my third year actually on that, but what I'm going to do is start by just talking a little bit more about um, my background because a lot of people do not know my background. Um, I am Stephen Smith, originally born in Ontario, Canada, moved down to Southern California, spent about 20 years in Southern California, and moved up to Washington State, spent about 10 years up in Washington State, really enjoyed that. Went to California again, out to Texas, spent about 4 years in Eastern Texas in Tyler, and then moved here to Sarasota, Florida in 2001 or 2000, September of 2000, excuse me. So I've always really been a self starter. I like to utilize my skills and the abilities for the benefit of the community as well as the benefit of the companies that I used to work for. And that's what's going to be a little bit different about tonight is I'm going to tell you a little bit more about what I've done in the past. I'm going to tell you about some things that I struggled with as well, and what led to me doing town halls, doing the nonprofit LWN Live with Nature Foundation, and what brought me to that. So, um, in I'll just start by saying I did start the nonprofit in January 1st of 2020, and so I'm very excited about that. But it's been a lifetime in getting to this point. It really has, and really only over the last 3 years or so have I really finally gotten myself to a point where I feel like I can be a role model, and I'm going to talk about that in a little bit from the standpoint of being a role model, particularly for my family, a role model, um, most especially for my children and my granddaughter. Um, so I'm going to share a story there, and maybe some of you can relate to that. I've made some pretty poor choices in my life, but I'm using those choices now as the platform for my strength and the platform for me sharing my experiences and my strength and my hope. Like I said, if you've got some questions after I get into this, so feel free to go ahead and ask me. I am an open door. I'm here to help you, help myself. I've said it before. I do these videos really for myself to a great degree. It helps me stay on track as to where I want to be and what I want to do. I recognize that my purpose is serving other people. That's why I started the nonprofit. But I started out years and years ago. One of the first jobs, I mean, I've been working since I was 13 years old. Started sweeping floors out in the warehouse. My grandfather actually owned a company that I ended up years later working for in the healthcare industry. And that's where my healthcare industry experience comes from. But, I learned at a young age about working and about being dedicated in the summers and learning some accountability. And I'm so ever grateful for those experiences. I really am. At 16 years old, I was working in a fast food restaurant, got put into a position cooking, didn't know much about it. Next thing I know, I've got customers coming back in saying that, oh, it'd be nice to have a hamburger on the bun, not just the bread. And it's like, oh. So what I realized from that was this: speed is really important, But paying attention to details is even more important, obviously. It makes for better customer satisfaction. So I learned at an early age about trying to make sure that I just was thinking about what I was doing first before just tearing into it and putting something out just to make it happen. It was more important to put out quality, in my case, than quantity. So I've been an independent representative actually, though, most of my life. I've been in sales and marketing and management. And my real first so-called career was in the wood stove burning fireplace industry. My father was in the business, worked for a national company manufacturing a thermostatically controlled wood burning stove. We ended up having some fireplace stores in the past. So as a teenager, I was working in these stores, and so I was learning more about dealing with the public in a retail aspect. Certainly involved in the installation of these fireplaces and wood stoves. And so I learned about heating, learned about how fans really help a lot with that, it circulate the air, and drafts and all kinds of interesting stuff. Um, so that was a really good learning experience. I found myself by the age of like 19 managing a store all by myself in Yuba City, California, which at the time was ranked at the bottom in the state of California for places to live, Yuba City, Marysville. But nonetheless, I was working there on a regular basis. Um, it was one of three stores actually, and so I learned how to do management and to be accountable for myself and have to work without anybody standing over me, making sure, that I'm doing my job. And that led to getting involved in the healthcare industry. And I got involved with a family business that my grandfather had started. And we were manufacturing records management systems for hospitals and nursing homes and home health agencies. And so I learned a lot about the healthcare industry as such. Uh, when you go into a hospital, you've got a chart. Now, today it's a little bit different. They've got computers in most places, but back in the day, they had a chart. So my grandfather, a very dynamic gentleman, learned a whole lot from him. He came up with the concept of using these ring binders as an alternative to the aluminum spring clamp charts that they had at the time. And so these spring clamp charts, you'd open them up and the nurses would start charting on it and it'd just pop out and fall over the floor and be a mess and take forever to put that together. Well, my grandfather introduced the concept of using this ring binder so it holds it more securely, it holds more information as well. And then we made the indexes to section the information up, as well as the chart racks and labels and alert systems. And so I started out in customer service with that organization, as well as sales. I had a sales position as well as running the customer service department for many, many years. And so I had a multi-state territory, so I was traveling. There again, that part of my job was as a commissioned salesperson. So I had to plan my time out, make the phone calls, set up the appointments, start traveling a multi-state territory. And as a result, there again, I had nobody standing over me. I had to go out there and literally had to sell something or else I made nothing. And so I had to be very resourceful. It was a great growing and learning experience for me. Absolutely. I worked my way all the way from the customer service department. I helped build that to national sales manager at one point. And I had 20 salespeople working for me, and it was very exciting. It was a learning experience as well from the management standpoint and working with other people. And then so that gave me a lot of experience. I also learned a whole lot in the healthcare industry because I had to learn about the terminology, and I was dealing with nursing, like the director of nursing in most places, or the administration. And I also learned about doing bids for the government and for the state-owned hospitals and things of this nature. And so it took me into literally thousands of nursing homes and hundreds of hospitals over the years and negotiating contracts. And it was very thrilling. It was very, very good. That company still exists today. Now, I haven't worked in the healthcare industry myself since 2000. In about 2000, I came out here to Sarasota, Florida. And I came here to following my parents. But this is also going to lead to the other part of that story. This difficult part is that when I came to Sarasota, Florida, after having a career for 15 years in the healthcare industry and working my way pretty much, to the top in the sales and management end of it, um, left there, came here so I could be closer to my parents. But I left behind my kids. I left behind my three children. I was going through, well, I had at that point met a new person. I was separated and then ended up getting divorced in around 2000 from the mother of my children. That was a very difficult time for me. And, it, as I get older here and I recognize how just terrible it was for my kids, um, I'm blessed because I actually do, in fact, have my parents and they're still together, and so that was a real role model for me about being able to be there for each other, especially when times got difficult. And they're still there for each other today, and so I'm just so blessed. And that was a great example. But I didn't make that same example for my kids, and as a result, it's something that I had to live with for a very long time now. I think I've come to terms with that, and that was really the aspect of abandoning my children because I came so far away from them, from where they were living in Texas to Florida here. I had grand ideas. I said, okay, well, I'll have you guys out. I'll make sure that I'm there for you. But what happened was that I've struggled for a long time, many, many years, with alcohol and with drugs. And as a result of that, what I'm going to tell you is this: I've had a lot of great experience from a sales management, professional aspect, executive positions. But I got things really good in my life. And then what happened, honestly, was is that, and I can recognize it now, it was called complacency. It was called the comfort zone. And I got very comfortable and complacent about my situation. And as a result of my complacency, what happened to me was this, and this is how I would describe it. I would start by saying that I'm a spiritual person having a human experience. I was born and raised in the Catholic Church and an altar boy in catechism and then Bible study and stuff like this. And so I always knew God, and I thank my parents for that. But when I found myself getting complacent, what I recognize now is that I kind of distanced my spirituality. And I said, oh, I got this. I've got this under control. No problem. You're doing good things here. You should be really proud of yourself. But what I had been doing had been drinking, and the drinking became a real habit. It became regular. It was a social thing. It was like, okay, 5 o'clock, okay, you can have a drink now, type stuff. But the drinking led to trouble for me. And what I would say is that I am grateful to God today that I don't drink, and I haven't drank for a long time. I don't keep track of those days like some people do. I can say, I've been involved with the AA. I've studied it, um, intensely studied it, had it memorized and stuff in the past years. But my point is, we were talking about counting days. I don't count days, and I don't count days for this reason. I don't count days because what I'm really focused on today is right here and right now. I know that I've made mistakes in the past. I made some grave mistakes, and I hurt my children. I hurt my parents. I cost myself in 2010 every single thing that I had and went to jail over drinking and driving. And please do not drink and drive. I know that many, many times I did it, God knows how many times, thinking I can do this or I didn't drink too much, but it caught up to me. It caught up to me, and I did get caught. And I got caught more than one time. And the problem was the last time around, because of the way the laws had changed and adjusted, it cost me dearly. Thankfully, I didn't hurt anybody. But what I did do was this: I sent myself to jail. I lost my job. I lost the respect of everybody around me. And it was very difficult. It ended up creating a situation where I lost everything and I went homeless. and that's back in 2000, late 2010. I was homeless in 2011. And then what happened was is that I decided to make a conscious effort to try and be an asset to community and to get my life turned around and to take action and decide that, hey, this, I like camping, I do, but I don't want it as a lifestyle. I've got to do better. I have done better in the past. Um, I need to remember that the complacency thing, when things got really good, that I would take my own will back instead of allowing God to be the person that puts the connection of doing the right things, knowing the right things, forgiving myself for the things that I'd done wrong. And then, so my spirituality got distance when I took my own will back. And the next thing I know, I would get in trouble just like I did in 2010. And so complacency is something I have to be very careful of. So then I decided, okay, be aware of that. But now what I've done is this is that I decided to make an intention. I'm going to get my life back. I had a choice, either fly under the wire, so to say, live in the woods for the rest of my life, eke out some kind of a living, however I possibly could do that, or try and get back into society. Instead of being the guy that's walking down the street going, wow, they got money to put gas in the car. They got a job to go to. They got a wife and kids at home. And I had blown that all up. I wanted it back. It's been a long, hard journey. Very, very long, hard journey. So what happened was I recognized that I needed help. So I've gotten help. I've gotten guidance and support over the years. I did attend the halls of AA, probably thousands of times. I'm sure it's certainly well over 1,000. And I learned so very, very much. But one of the things that I learned in there was this: for turn my will in my life over to the care of God. The first step was admit that my life had become unmanageable. My life was unmanageable, and so I wanted to, with God's guidance, and recognize that if I turn my life and my will over to my higher power, whatever you might call that higher power, whether it's God or the other names that they have for God, or the creative consciousness, or for that sake, your car or the doorknob, I don't care what it is, something that was more powerful than me, because on my own will, I sure made a lot of mistakes. When I turned it over, though, my life did start to get better, and my life has been pretty good. And so what happened ultimately is that it evolved. It evolved to doing these broadcasts, these evening broadcasts, the town hall get to know now on Fridays, and the Ask Dr. Jenny, where I've got a certified top-notch doctor that's the director of the medical board for the foundation. I'm learning about health and wellness. I talk about health and wellness. I share my experiences, my strength, and my hope in an effort that I might be able to maybe save one person's life or help them make a good decision. I recognize that I need to serve others. That's what I'm doing. And so I'm so glad that by doing these videos, I had no idea that it would evolve into doing literally 7 broadcasts now every week, and a nonprofit foundation where we have these plans of opening up a transformational center by the end of next year, where we can actually help other people get their life back too. A place where they can get the resources that they need, the medical help, um, from the health and wellness standpoint, the moral support, um, the ability to get off of the street, the ability to get a job and help them get a job, and to help them do that without it costing them something, most importantly. It's a dream that I have, and it's a dream that I believe that I can achieve. And so that's what I'm working towards. And I just felt it was important to share some of my background. I've got a lot of experience in the sales, like I said, and in the management. And I've done good things, but I made other poor choices. I wanted to address right now, one of the most difficult things was to come to terms with the fact that my kids felt abandoned. That wore very heavily upon me. What I did was this. It made me feel so bad and such a loser about myself that it gave me the excuse to drink and drug and hide behind the veil of an intoxicated existence. And I don't have to do that anymore. I don't have to do that because I have the support now. I've earned back the support of my family. I've earned back, um, slowly but surely, some small, tiny little level of respect for my kids. I want to say that I'm so blessed to be able to have my son, my youngest son, in town right now. I've had an opportunity for him to be working with me, and it's been the best thing that I can possibly remember. The thing that I told him was this: I apologized, of course, certainly, from my heart that I wasn't there for him, but that I recognized that although I beat myself up and I turned to drugs and alcohol and destroyed my life and just would make a mess of things when they got really good in the past because of complacency, that today I recognize that and I just live for today primarily. Yes, I have to plan the future. Yes, I have to make these action plans and say this is what I'm going to see in the future, right? Because it does take action plans and it takes putting it on paper for me. Um, it takes repeating affirmations. It takes um, saying that prayer of gratitude in the morning. It takes um, doing these videos and affirming all the things that I want in my life and that I'm glad that others love too. Um, so I am blessed. I really am blessed. I'm blessed that you're watching. I'm blessed that you appreciate. I appreciate that you're taking time to come and listen to me. So what I said is that I say this saying a lot. The past is a memory, and I like to go back to the past. I do a lot. I like to talk about all the stuff that I experienced in the past. The future's not here yet. Let's hope that we all make it to the future, to tomorrow. Um, it's not guaranteed. Something drastic could happen, or somebody could hit me, and I could be in a car accident. God knows I could trip over the curb and hit my head, and it could be all over. Okay. Um, so if I concentrate right now and right here and do the very best that I can possibly do with what I have, then that's what's important. Because I can then, by having forgiven myself now for the things that I've done wrong, by doing a healthy routine, by affirming the truths that I want to see in my life, I can be the role model and I can love myself and I can look in the mirror and say, I love you, Stephen. And I can say, I love you to others. And I can forgive them and I can forgive myself and I'm freed. And so I'm so grateful for that. And if I do good here right now, then that's going to set the success like, John, um, come on, Stephen. Um, when I want to think of a name, John Maxwell. When John Maxwell says what we do right here, right now, set the stage for our successes tomorrow. So I focus upon that, and I try and be that role model that I was not in the past, because I know that my kids need me. I know that my family would like to see me do better. I know that my granddaughter needs me, and I know that my two sons, and my daughter need me, and I want to be there for them, and I want them to respect me. Now, what I'd like to do is to go to um, the questions here right now. Let me just do this. I gotta change that. It is the town hall. I'm going to look at these comments here. I want to say thank you to everybody that's watching. Thank you, Kimberly. I appreciate you. Welcome, welcome. And Gail Westfall, good evening to you as well. Ruben Lowing is on station. Thank you so very much for joining me as well. And Mona Haves, thank you for joining. Peggy Brow, thank you for joining me this evening. Um, okay, I just want to try and read through this and talk at the same time. So, Um, I appreciate the comments here. Like I say, the reason I came on tonight is because I had planned to have another guest on. He was not available tonight, so we're going to reschedule Edgar Hansen. I'm looking forward to that. He's got a great story. I wanted to share my story. I wanted to tell you about how, yeah, I've had a lot of successes, but then I've also had a lot of failures. But I don't use those failures as a reason to continue to mask and cover myself up and live in an intoxicated existence. I live in the moment. I try and make the best of what I can. And honestly, it starts with gratitude. Gratitude is the most important factor that I apply to my life. If you haven't heard me say it before, I'll say it again. And that is, before my feet hit the ground, I say a prayer of gratitude. Thank you, Lord, for letting me wake up today. Allow me to learn and to grow and to be a positive influence on others. Help me to be able to meet some new friends and be able to enjoy and learn from them. Keep me safe, keep me happy, keep me healthy, and keep me away from the drugs and alcohol. And then I put the positive, mostly spiritual to start with anymore. Videos, first thing, because first thing in the morning when you're just waking up, last thing at night, when you put this information into your brain, it starts rewriting the tapes. And that's what I had to learn because I've been through recovery 3 times. Yeah, I learned a lot. um, I thought it was the worst thing in the universe at that time, but what I recognize now is that it was the best time I could have ever had. God allowed me to allow myself to make the choices I did that created my situation so that I could learn, so that I could just share my experience of look, there is hope. There is light at the end of the tunnel. Um, yes, it took me 3 times. And then, that I've slipped a few times too, but I haven't drank for a while. And what I do know is this: if I don't take that first drink right here, right now, then I don't have to worry about what it's going to do to me. I don't have to worry about ever getting behind the wheel again and drinking and driving or possibly killing somebody or wrecking my career and ending up homeless again. I don't have to do any of that. And if I can help one person that doesn't have to experience that pain and trauma and and have their kids not be there for their children. Our kids need us. They need us to be role models and they need us available at all times. And so I'm blessed to be able to have my son right here in this town so that I can go fishing with him on Sunday. One of the things that I think is very important for everybody that's listening is that yes, we have so much going on in our lives. Even if it's at home right now, there's still things that we're doing. But please take time. Take time for yourself, number one. If we don't take care of ourselves first, we're going to not be any good for anybody else. So when you take care of yourself first and you forgive yourself and you release the self-limiting thinking, it opens a space in your soul to be replaced. And this is where that last go round, which was 6 months in, 6 months aftercare, that I recognized, hey, I need to apply what they're teaching us. It was called cognitive behavioral therapy. They also call it NLP, neuro linguistic programming. It's retraining your thinking. And you retrain your thinking through affirmation, changing the people that you hang around if you need to change them. If they're a negative influence, you need to change them. We can only take so much. And when it starts to affect us and we start to sacrifice ourselves just to be around others, it's going to be a problem. We also have to learn to be happy for ourselves. Because if we're busy doing things for others so that they will recognize us and they will acknowledge us and we get our happiness because they said, oh, you're great, we appreciate you. For me, it wasn't true happiness. I wore a mask that said I was happy. I'm happy when I wasn't. And I recognized that clearly drinking never got me anywhere good. None of my successes were because I was a drinker. My successes were when I was sober, concentrating on doing all the research and learning about the products that I was selling or whatever it might have been, or committing myself 100% and being that team player for the company, no matter what it was. One of the things was this: after I went homeless in 2000, when I got out of jail in 2011, of course, I'm out in the woods, and I'm homeless, and I'm thinking, shit, this was the furthest thing from my mind. I mean, I was just like shocked. It's like, what? But it was real. But what I ended up having to do, because I lost my job in the company that I started, because I guess I didn't mention that we do have a family business here in town. And I started that for us in 2006 as a franchise. Um, and yet I lost total control. I don't even own a part of that business today. And I've been at this for 14 years with them when I started in 2006. But I lost that. So I had to earn back my credibility factor. So as a homeless person, I said, "Oop, okay, I need to make money. I don't care whether I'm homeless or not. I got to earn some money. So I've got to do something." So yes, I stood out there with that sign, "Will work for money." Thankfully, I had a cell phone. It's like I had the cell phone number on there. Call me, please. And yes, it happened. I was so blessed. Um, but then I ended up getting a job. I flew sign, stop at Little Caesar's Pizza out here in Sarasota. Tells me, "Oh yeah, you got to stand out here in this blazing heat because it's like 90 degrees in the summertime or better. You got to stand out here for 8 months before they'll ever let you on the inside of that place." Holy cow! Wow, that's going to take a bit. So that's fine. I'll just go ahead and I'll pay my dues. And I'll flip this sign and I'll send people to Little Caesar's Pizza. Well, I ended up getting hired to go on the inside, but I had to ride a bike for like 4 or 5 miles one direction just to get to that job through the pouring down rain, whatever it took. It took a year and a half of doing that, working for minimum wage, making pizzas for people, and doing the best that I could to finally earn back the respect that I could finally start to part-time come back to work for this business that I'd started. Now it's my full-time deal. It is. Um, I'm grateful for it because, and I want to share this too with you. It was a gift to be able to do this. Now I was inspired to do this tub refinishing by my very good close friend that I've known since ninth grade, 1975. And so I just gave away my age. But um, he did it. I was with him in 83. So I trained with him and did it. Um, and the bottom line is that I started this business and it's all about refinishing tubs and tile and stuff like this. But what it is this: it's called transformational change. I have the opportunity every single day of my life to go out there and give new life to tubs and tile and sinks. And I get to be artistic. I get to um, use some Bondo and fill the cracks and the chips and make it like new. And then have a beautiful piece that looks as close to new as it gets. But before I did that, it was in a wreck of a condition, most of them. So I get to give them new life rather than them being teared out and thrown away. So this is kind of like an analogy of people. People hold a lot against People can hold things against you about your past. It's hard to live down your past. But I don't let that stop me. I admit today that I made these mistakes. I'm not afraid of it, and I'm not afraid of somebody looking down on me because of it, because that's in the end their problem. They have to deal with it. But not only do I transform tubs and tile on a daily basis, I transform my life to be as good as new as possible. So my regular day job is transforming, inanimate objects. My other job is transforming myself to positive transformational change by a regular healthy routine is how I do it. And that's what I do. And that's what I've been doing for several years now with Affirmation Monday, with Empowerment Tuesday, with Health and Wellness Wednesday, with Thankful Thursday, with Love Friday. Now we've grown from there. We have the town hall, people that are making a positive impact in community. And I'm not trying to brag on myself because it's not about my ego. It's simply about helping others because I do this really without the expectation of something. I'm not expecting something at the end of this, except the gratification that I know that maybe I helped somebody recognize that when they were on the brink of taking their own life, just like I was, that maybe they'll recognize they can get their life back. But it's going to take a lot of work. It's going to take dedication. It's going to take consistency. And when you do that, you can change your life and you can make it better. That's what I want. That's what I want for myself. That's what I want for everybody. I want to say welcome as well to Veronica Mendez. Thank you so very much for joining us. I've gotten a little bit personal. I got a little bit business on the front end because I did want you to know about my professional background. It means nothing because what it does mean is that I had a lot of experience that bring me to today to let you know that my whole focus in life is to share my experience, strength, and hope, and let you know that there is light at the end of a dark tunnel. Many of us have to go through the darkness to get to the light. I wish there was a way that we didn't, have to necessarily experience the darkness. I wasn't that smart, apparently. I kept on doing the same thing exactly the same way, expecting a different result. And now I know that I can't do the same thing and get a different result. I have to do something different. I have to make sure that when I feel comfortable, that I get uncomfortable quickly and challenge myself and step past my fears and recognize if I fall, guess what? That was a learning experience. Get back up, keep on going, one step at a time. At least it's not like it was. It would be 3 steps forward in my life and 2 big steps back. And it's like clearly I'm still alive. You're still alive. You're watching that, and for that I am grateful. I appreciate everybody that took time to come and listen to me tonight. I want you to have a great weekend. Today is Love Friday. I think I'm expressing love from the standpoint of telling you how important it is for me to not only be healthy and be a good example and a role model, but that it is for all of us and that we can do it no matter how difficult things are. Get the professional help that we need. If you need a counselor, get the counselor. I know that people like Veronica Mendez can help people. I know she does. Veronica and Aaron are totally awesome. Ruben says, cheer up, buddy. You're inspiring. I have to admit, I had a heck of a talk with my son before I came on and did this. Um, I've got a long ways to go to earn his respect, I promise you. And all I could tell him is, hey, look, at least I'm not beating myself up and looking for that next drink. I'm okay with the fact that, yeah, I messed up. See, I don't even want to say I wish it didn't happen because, in a way I do. But I had to recognize that I can't change the past. So what can I change? Right here, right now. Let's focus on right here, right now. I change this, make this good. tomorrow will be better. If every single day is better than today, life is great. And I just have to start it with gratitude. Remember that, folks. Be grateful. It's the little stuff. It's the running water. It's even having 50 cents change in your pocket for that matter. Or having a toilet paper. Good Lord, for a bit, their toilet paper was like gold. Having the ability to know that people do you love you. We love you here. I love you. God loves you. Let's just recognize that. Forgive yourself. Move forward just like I have. I'm trying to be an example. Thank you for joining me. I will be back live. I might bring, I'm blessed because you know what? And I've been trying to do this for a couple years is to get my dad out fishing. Because you know what? My dad taught me how to fish. He also taught me how to camp and take care of myself out in the woods and stuff like that. Um, I taught my kids how to learn. That is the one thing that my son said. Well, you taught me how to fish. Well, good. God forbid that we have to go out and always catch our dinner, But if we do, and you know how, it's a good thing. But Sunday I get to because I just want to. I have to take time. I said that earlier. Take time for yourself. Take time for your family. Do something quality. Teach your kids how to live by being the example. Get to go take my dad. He's turned me down multiple times because he's just not up to it. Sunday he's going to be up to it. I'm going to drag him if I have to, but I get to go with my dad. I get to go with my son, and I get to take my granddaughter, and we get to go fishing. Life doesn't get better. Have some quality time with your family or your friends. I know that there's this social distancing and staying at home stuff for some people. Okay, recognize that. Just make the plans now today for what you can do then. Okay, there's all different ways. Let's get resourceful. The internet's there at this point. We can certainly utilize it. I've seen people playing games interactively on the internet. Let's get creative and do something. I'm just blessed because they're going to allow me to go fishing, and I get to go with family. Thank you. God bless everybody. My prayers are with you. Join me again. I'll be back certainly Monday morning about 6:30. I'll be there. We're going to welcome a brand new day because that's what I do. Welcome a brand new day in, watch the sun coming up, listen to the birds, connect to nature, connect to source, and connect to community. And that community is you. Thank you. Have a wonderful Friday or Saturday or Sunday or whenever you see this. Remember to share this video out to your friends. Remember to share it to the groups that you belong to. Like our Facebook page, the LWN Foundation, if you haven't already. And by the way, everybody that's been supporting what I've been doing, watching the videos and liking our page, checking out our website, thank you. Thank you so very much. All right. I'm not seeing any specific questions. I'm seeing lots of nice comments. Thank you very much. Sandy's been watching me for a very long time. It's actually morning for her. She's in Australia. My day was good, so I'll talk about my day. My day went. I had to adjust my day, to be honest. It's like I'm on 24-hour call, because within 24 hours things can change drastically for me. So yeah, I mean, I'm scheduled for like close to 3 weeks with the day job with the refinishing business. But this morning I get up and it's like, okay, we didn't hear back from the customer. Let's give them a call. Give them a call. Okay, they're not ready. So they're not ready for us. They have to reschedule. Okay, bingo. There went about 5 or 6 hours, or certainly 5 hours or 4 hours, whatever it is, for that job. So okay, all right, that freed me up to be able to get a couple other things done. But I still had a couple other jobs. I had to go save a sink, save a sink's life, and save a tub's life, and do some rust repair, and then some spraying. And so I went and took care of those, and then I came home. Well, then I got to be with my son because I've been having him with me, and so at work, and so I had a really great talk with my son, and working on mending that relationship with the children thing. It was so awesome. And then I got ready and I came on live here. And I just felt it was important to share some personal story. Clearly, I didn't plug my computer in, so I better do that before it just stops. One moment, please. Um, so my day was interesting, but yet, guess what? So then I go to do this broadcast, and in typical fashion, I went to move my computer. Well, I turned it off right at 7 o'clock because I was about to go live. So then my computer went off. I had to reboot it and start back up to be here because I wanted to share my story. Thanks for listening. My day was just fine. I've had to learn to adjust to things not seem so happy. Take it as it comes, right? So, in all, good day. Great day because I was with my son. Great day because I fixed the sink. Great day because I fixed the tub. Can't get better. Great day because you're here and you were listening. Thank you again. I am Stephen Smith, and I'm glad to be here. Have an exceptional evening or morning or whatever it is. We'll see you soon. And in the meantime, make somebody smile. This is Stephen Smith. I'm signing off from Sarasota tonight. Have a great evening. Bye for now.